and end the US dollar's hegemony. The dollar hegemony has brought huge profits to the US economy, but the profits has not been distributed fairly to the American people, further widening the gap between rich and poor. The US government could have used these profits to build a Scandinavian-style welfare system, the ones they have in Norway and Sweden. Instead, the previous US governments enabled the globalist corporations to accumulate their own deep pockets without sharing a damn with the American people. Clinton deregulated the finance industry, enriching the banking giants. Bush Jr. allowed the oil, military, and industrial complex to win big at the cost of American lives, American bloods. And Obama, the other neoliberal con artist, trying hard to uphold his seemingly harmless appearance, his image, boosted profits for the law firms and healthcare companies. Not to mention his full-time job right now as the LGBTQ+ community commander-in-chief. The manufacturing outflows dismantled unions, while the technology, under the guiding principles of globalist agendas, merely produced the filthy innovations like AI large language models and other efficiency-maximizing tricksters that render the labor value of working people useless. Coupled with their intentionally designed illegal immigration from the South, American workers, whether blue-collar or white-collar ones, got their wages compressed, jobs replaced, either by illegals from the South or by foreigners who now occupy the Silicon Valley and Wall Street, all thanks to Obama's so-called welcoming policies. Of course, not welcoming Americans, but foreign aliens. I was once at an Ivy League cult school campus where Obama was there giving a so-called leadership lecture, and there was an Indian guy who said to me, shamelessly, he was like, "Oh, I love President Obama." I was like, why would you as an Indian love American former president? And his response says it all. He said because when he was president, his policy welcomed the foreigners to work at the USA, those high-paying jobs, finance, banking, consulting, and tech. I mean, what can I say about it? So basically, the entire generations of middle-class Americans got wiped out. And that enabled the private equity and shadow banking firms to prey upon the common people and amass huge wealth that we cannot even possibly imagine. By year 2025, 1% of the Americans own over 30% of the nation's assets and wealth. And that's a typical sign of an empire at its late stage, when the elites control everything and the common people could barely survive. Meanwhile, from an economic standing point, the US dollar hegemony naturally requires a trade deficit, suppressing American exports and bolstering the financial sector to attract the foreign capital. After 2008, Obama's policies allowed financial firms to merge into uncontrollable giants, worsening the issue called too big to fail. Now a single Wall Street bank failure could collapse the entire US economy, potentially ending this 250 years old American empire. These proofs show that the dollar hegemony no longer serves the interests of the American people. It only empowers a self-serving elite that hijacks the government and subverts the will of the people through buying and manipulating elections. You've seen that in New York, in California, and in year 2020. Ending the dollar hegemony would benefit Americans and impose fiscal discipline, something which has been lacking in this country for so long.